Now here's a case I found really fascinating. This is the case of the California gold mine discoveries. In the middle of the 19th century, gold was discovered in California, and miners came from all around the world to get the gold. They came to places like Table Mountain in the Sierra Nevada mountains, and to get the gold, the miners dug tunnels through solid rock. And deep inside these tunnels, the miners found human skeletons and human artifacts, hundreds of them, not just in one place, but in many dozens of places in the gold mining region. For example, they found many of these stone mortars and pestles. This particular set was found 1,500 feet from the mouth of the tunnel. 1,500 feet in a tunnel, deep in a tunnel, drilled into solid rock. That stone mortar and pestle were found by a miner, but some of the discoveries were made by professional scientists, such as Clarence King of the United States Geological Survey. Now, what makes these discoveries so interesting is they were found in solid rock belonging to the early part of the geological period called the Eocene, which means these objects would be about 50 million years old. Now, as I said, a Vedic archaeologist wouldn't have any problem with that, but for most archaeologists today, it would be completely out of the question. 50 million years ago is before the time of the first apes and monkeys, according to their, perhaps mistaken, picture of the history of life on Earth. Where do we get this date of 50 million years? A little technical information. This is the bedrock here, and these depressions are river channels that were carved into the rock by rivers that ran during the early Eocene. That's been determined by the Eocene nature of the plant and animal fossils that are found in the old river gravels, which are now compacted into solid rock. That age has also been confirmed by some other methods. Over the old river deposits are deposits of volcanic ash, huge deposits of volcanic ash that are now solidified to rock-hard consistency. These have been dated using the potassium argon method, and the ages range from 20 to 33 million years, covering the older river channel deposits. And then on top, you've got lava flows, basalt, over 200 feet thick, dated at 9 million years using the potassium argon method. And these deposits used to extend across the whole area, but then later new rivers formed and they carved out new channels, leaving Table Mountain here. And the human bones and artifacts were found in these old Eocene river deposits. These discoveries were reported to the scientific world by Dr. J.D. Whitney, who was the chief government geologist of California. His report was published by Harvard University in the year 1880. But we don't hear very much about these discoveries today due to this process of knowledge filtration that I mentioned in the beginning. And this is the scientist most responsible for the knowledge filtering in this particular case. This is Dr. William B. Holmes. He was a physical anthropologist working at the Smithsonian Institution in Washington, D.C. And he said, if Dr. Whitney had understood the theory of human evolution, he wouldn't have announced those conclusions that he did in that report. In other words, if the facts did not go along with the theory, then the facts had to be put aside and the person who reported them had to be discredited, and that's exactly what happened. A couple of years ago, I had my own personal experience of the knowledge filtering process in connection with these California gold mine discoveries. I was a consultant for an NBC television special called The Mysterious Origins of Man. The host of the show was the famous American actor Charlton Heston. And I appeared on that show, as did my co-author, Richard Thompson. And the show was largely based on material from our book, Forbidden Archeology, although the show did include the research of others as well. When they were filming this program, I told the producers they should go to the Phoebe Hearst Museum of Anthropology at the University of California at Berkeley, because I knew that some of the 50-million-year-old artifacts from the California gold mines are still being kept in that museum today. So when the producers went there, the museum officials told them, well, you're making a television program, you probably have a very tight deadline, we just wouldn't have time to have our workers search through our collections and bring these artifacts out for you. So then the producer said, well, no, we've got 6 months to do the program. Could you please have a look? And then the museum official said, well, we have another problem. We have a very tight budget. We just would not be able to afford to pay our staff the overtime that would be necessary for them to do this work. So then the producer said, well, money's not a problem either. We'll pay the overtime salaries for the workers. We'll pay for all the expenses. And then finally the museum official just said, no, go away. You're not going to see these things. So, nevertheless, we were able to use photographs of these artifacts that were taken by Whitney in the 19th century, and the show did go on. But when Darwinist scientists in America found out that NBC was going to show an anti-Darwin program at prime time on Sunday evening when lots of innocent children would still be up, they went ballistic.